And the discussions for today would basically be in about latest PNP draws that have happened, the ExpressEntry draws, if any. I don't think there was any ExpressEntry draw, but yeah, we will talk about the one that did not happen. And obviously about the provincial nominee programs, the overview of PNPs, and whatever that entails. Starting with the provincial nominee program, well, what have we got here? The first one we have was the Manitoba draw, where we had 650 candidates who were invited to apply for the provincial nomination on September 23rd. Skilled workers in Manitoba got 529, skilled worker overseas got 67, and international education stream got 54 invitations, which was pretty cool. Manitoba has also kept very regular flow of invitations coming. So it was good to see that they have invited nearly 8,000 invitations. That's a lot of invitations since the start of 2021. Then we had Saskatchewan, whereby they invited 391 candidates. And the lowest score this time was at 71 points. Now they invite, obviously, I mean, for most of you who are following Saskatchewan, they already know that they have two main streams that people, which are very popular. One is the occupation in demand stream and the ExpressEntry stream, which is obviously linked to ExpressEntry. For both these streams, the score point was 71. And they actually sent out, there were 61 eligible occupations, 61 NOCs were chosen for this particular draw, which is pretty cool. And that's how they rolled it this time. Alberta, again, another very, very popular province. They did another draw on the 14th of September and then again on the 21st of September. Lately, I mean, over the last few weeks, probably a couple of months, Alberta has been very active in sending out invitations. Earlier, they would sort of hold back the invitations to only the lower CRS range, but now lately they have been sending out invitations even to very high CRS scores of 450, 480, 490, even 500s have now been receiving invitations from Alberta, which is quite surprising. Excuse me. But considering that there has been no federal skilled worker draw for what now, 9 months now, almost 10 months, that Alberta is taking this opportunity to invite those high-ranking score profiles as well. But to give you a bit of insight about Alberta, and this usually confuses a lot of people all the time. With Alberta PNP, you don't need to do anything except having an active ExpressEntry profile, which should not be expiring in within the next 5 months. That is one of the criteria. So if your profile is expiring within the next 5 months, and if Alberta PNP is something that you are targeting, then you probably might want to look at recreating your profile. So you withdraw this profile, recreate it. That is one. Number two, obviously, you would have chosen either Alberta as the province that you're interested in, or you would have chosen all provinces. Both are fine. You don't specifically need to choose Alberta, but you can choose all provinces, and that is also fine. And third is your primary occupation. Now, Alberta has never announced or published information as to what exactly is the criteria under which they have invited people. However, from discussions with so many candidates, with discussions from so many people who have received Alberta invitations, we know that they have in the past invited 1311, 0632, 1122, 2132, 2131, 2133, 1241, 1242, 1215, 2253, 4212, and lately they have invited 2282 and also 225. Did I say 2253? Yes, and 2253. In the earlier draw, they were also targeting 2132, 21. So basically, the engineering category 2131, 2132, 2133s. So these have primarily been the NOC codes that in the past that they have been picking up in all these draws that they have been conducting. So if you are one of these occupation codes, make sure that this is your primary NOC code. That is where they would pick up that information from. And as I said, unfortunately, they don't really publish a lot of information as to what exactly is the criteria. A lot of people would see that the lowest drawn score was 300, for example. It was on this particular draw that this was the lowest drawn score. However, a lot of people above the score of 300 don't receive an invitation, and that is primarily because they don't really give you an indication of what exactly was the criteria followed. Since January, they have issued 6,250 invitations, which is again pretty cool. Then we have British Columbia, which is always on our weekly roundup because they do obviously conduct a lot of invitations. This year, they have issued a total of 9,000 invitations already. Now, mind you, it does not mean that that was their quota or that is the nominations they have issued, because invariably what happens is a lot of people don't accept the invitations or their applications are rejected or refused. So please do not think that the number of invitations equals the number of nomination. This is just the number of invitations they have issued, which they will conduct every single draw. And yes, obviously with BC PNP, British Columbia PNP programs, you usually need to have a job offer from an employer. I mean, if you don't have the job offer, then you will not basically be eligible to get anything from them, except if you are eligible in a specific education related program that they have, whereby if you have completed a master's degree with specific fields, then you may be invited, or rather you can then apply for nomination. Well, this is basically just a summary of what they have conducted. Different provinces have conducted in September. Ontario held 5 draws. Alberta had 3 large invitation draws. BC, British Columbia, BC PNP held a total of 6 draws. Manitoba also conducted 2 draws. Nova Scotia conducted only. Now, this has been my, this was something that I've been looking forward to, but it hasn't happened. And I'm talking about Nova Scotia. Of all these weekly roundups that we do and of all the expectations that we have had, all the provinces have continued to do what they have always been doing, as in, do their draws, conduct their draws, invite people. It's Nova Scotia that has been in the hiding. We haven't heard anything from Nova Scotia at all. So we know that they closed their category B, which was a very popular category because a lot of people would have been eligible to apply without the relevance of CRS scores. But after they closed that category, they did, or rather they would invite people under the labor market priority stream, where they would pick up one knock code and just invite people out of the ExpressEntry pool. Again, you don't need to do anything except having an active ExpressEntry profile. But Nova Scotia hasn't been active at all. I haven't seen anything from Nova Scotia in ages. So that is one province you want to keep an eye on, because when they do, you will probably see them picking up some nice NOC codes and sending out invitations. So it's always a good idea to have an active ExpressEntry profiles at all time, even if your scores are low, because you never know when does your luck come, beating down the door for you, whether it's from Alberta or Nova Scotia, and sometimes even from different provinces. Even provinces like Newfoundland and Labrador, they are also prone to picking up people. New Brunswick are also prone to picking up people, though they have their own specific immigration programs, whereby they either conduct immigration information session, recruitment session, or they will invite people who have specific knock codes related to their market priorities. So that is by and large the roundup for the month. As far as PNPs were concerned, Saskatchewan issued a total of 919 invitations. Prince Edward Islands is another province that a lot of people expect something from, but honestly, it also is the smallest province and therefore the lowest quota probably with immigration PNP nominations. And usually you would expect them to, or rather that's what they do, give preference to people who are inside the province, who have some connection to the province, and who are, who have a job or work experience. ExpressEntry. Now, what did we have from ExpressEntry? As we did not hope and expect, but they did it anyways. 761 ExpressEntry candidates were invited to apply for permanent resident, and they were invited under the PNP specific program specific draw, where the lowest score was 742. This year, IRCC has already issued 108,000 invitations, which is a huge number. Never ever before in the history of ExpressEntry have they issued that many invitations. This is obviously phenomenal. And we still have 3 months to go. What also then happened is that, as the regular trend that we have come to expect from IRCCs, that they will first conduct a PNP draw, then they would conduct a CEC specific draw. At least that's what they've been doing. They've actually conducted a total of, I have it over here, 18 18 PNP draws this year. All right. So that would also mean that they have conducted somewhat similar 18, 17, 18 CEC specific draws. Now, with all this, you would expect that they would have conducted another draw, which again they did not. This is again what they're following, what they did in the last draw, where they conducted a PNP draw, and then for some reason they skipped CEC draw altogether, which then again brought out a lot of speculations that FSW draw is going to happen or an all program draw is going to happen. And again, all our hopes came crashing down when they conducted a CEC draw with a big gap and with only very few invitations, therefore shooting up the CEC scores. This week, they have again not conducted a CEC draw. One reason people were obviously talking about is because it was a public holiday the next day, but I don't think it was that should have stopped them, because the following day, which was a Friday, was not a public holiday, and nothing happened then either. So yes, again, we are coming back to looking at October, or rather this next week, as to when they might conduct a draw. Would it be CEC? Would it be all program? Well, fingers crossed. I do not want to predict anymore, because I obviously have a flat face. It's on my face. I mean, I have like, it all fell flat, right? I mean, I was really, really hoping that third quarter, which ended already 2 days back, that I would have seen an all program draw. It did not happen. As of this time, I have no more excuse, understanding, defense to think why all program draws are not happening. It made sense for some time. It was obvious that this was logical, because Canada wanted to give a preference to people who are inside Canada. It basically rushed up the process. It helped them meet their targets, quotas, etc., etc., etc. COVID was a big thing. Hong Kong was a big thing. Then, TR to PR was a big thing. All those were big things at some point of time. They have stopped being that. And honestly, I do not know why all program draws are not happening and when the next draw will happen. I keep praying and hoping every single week that this week should be that week. And similarly, I will keep hoping and praying that coming week would be that week when you will see an all program draw. But there honestly is no more logical explanation, understanding, sensible reasoning to think why there are no more all program draws. And obviously, as we all know, IRCC chooses to remain mum about it. They don't want to talk about it for whatever reason. So here it is, fingers are crossed. Let's hope and see if something good comes out of it sooner. Moving on, that basically overview of September PNPs. We've already done that. And that basically is the end of today's weekly roundup. If you wish to book an appointment with me, please, by all means, do. This is the link. You are welcome to join. You're welcome to book an appointment, and then we can chat about your individual case application one-on-one. I am, after all, ICCRC immigration consultant. If you are not following on Instagram, then you definitely should. We keep posting a lot of these reels, which are like 1-minute short videos, which give you a lot of information, understanding of what's happening out there. And definitely, please do subscribe to the channel. That is always good to see the numbers going up. And at the same time, you get a notification if we are posting any new videos or new content. Thank you so much for joining in. That's all from me today. I will see you next time. Take care.